You know, when you think of penicillin, you probably picture a scientist in a lab and a really lucky accident, right? But what if I told you the secret to one of modern medicine's biggest game changers was actually figured out thousands of years ago, using something you might find in the back of your bread bin?
So let's get right into it. The truth is, the story you and I were taught about this incredible medical breakthrough, it has the secret, ancient first chapter that's been hiding in plain sight all along.
Okay, first, let's just quickly go over the story we all know and love. It's a great story, and it centers on one person, the Scottish physician and microbiologist Alexander Fleming.
Yeah, as Fleming himself said, this whole thing was a total accident. He'd been away on holiday, comes back to his lab and finds that one of his petri dishes, the one supposed to be growing Staphylococcus bacteria, was, well, contaminated.
He sees that all around this little patch of rogue mold, there's a clear ring, like a dead zone, where the bacteria just couldn't grow, and it hits him. Something in that mold must be a powerful bacteria killer, and just like that, he'd discovered penicillin.
And this right here is where the story gets really, really interesting. Because while Fleming was absolutely the first to scientifically identify what was going on, the answer to that question, it's a huge, resounding no.
Turns out, this whole idea of using mold to fight off infections wasn't some 20th century lightning strike. Oh no, it was actually a piece of folk wisdom that healers had been quietly using for literally thousands of years.
That's right, we're talking more than 3,000 years. Way before sterile labs and petri dishes were even a dream, traditional healers knew that some molds had these incredible healing powers.
So how in the world did they do it? Well, the answer is simple, kind of brilliant, and it might just involve what your bread turns into if you forget about it for a week or two. Yep, moldy bread. And look, this wasn't just some one-off thing in a tiny village. We see evidence of this exact technique popping up all over the place. Ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, Serbian folk medicine. This was widespread ancient knowledge. The method was super direct, very practical. They just take some moldy bread, mash it up into a paste, or a poultice, and slap it right onto an infected wound. I know, it sounds a little strange to us now, but for them, it worked. It was medicine.
So you've got to be asking, how did this ancient, kind of gross remedy actually work? Well, this wasn't a placebo, and it definitely wasn't a superstition. There is real science at play here, a science that ancient healers understood simply through observation and results.
To get why this worked, we have to talk about antibiotics. All an antibiotic is, really, is a substance that either kills bacteria or just stops it from growing. And guess what? The mold on that old bread was busy making a natural one.
So here's the breakdown. A healer lets a piece of bread get moldy. If they got lucky, a species of Penicillium mold would grow on it. Yep, the same family Fleming found. See, this mold produces an antibiotic basically as a defense mechanism. So when that moldy bread poultice was put on a wound, that antibiotic went to work, killing the bacterial infection. Simple as that.
Okay, so if people knew about this for thousands of years, why is Alexander Fleming the one in all the history books? This is where we see that crucial, massive leap from ancient folk wisdom to modern medicine.
I mean, the difference is just night and day. The ancient remedy was totally raw, completely unpurified. The amount of actual antibiotic you'd get from one piece of moldy bread to the next was all over the place. It was kind of a gamble. Modern medicine, though, it's all about purification, standardized doses, and getting a reliable, predictable result every single time.
See, Fleming's true genius, and the genius of the scientists who came after him, wasn't just noticing the mold. It was isolating that one single bacteria-killing molecule. That's what allowed them to purify it, to concentrate it, and to turn a hit-or-miss folk remedy into one of the most powerful and reliable medical tools in all of human history.
So when you boil it all down, the full story isn't just about a lucky accident in a lab in 1928. It's a story that stretches across millennia, connecting the incredible observational wisdom of ancient healers with the precise, methodical genius of modern science. You really can't have the whole story of this miracle drug without both chapters.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? The story of penicillin just goes to show that sometimes the biggest breakthroughs of the future are hidden in the forgotten remedies of our distant past, just waiting for us to take another look. So what's the next moldy bread out there?